Welcome everybody to another great episode of the Beyond Normal podcast. Today we're talking to a founder who's working on physical products in the physical space. Again, we know the world is going digital, but there's still a need for physical products. Her name is Chantelle Lott. She is the founder of Bounceless bras. The model that they go by is bust size is no longer a barrier. Without further ado, I want to bring Chantelle to the stage so we can hop into this conversation and learn more about her product and the platform that she's building. How are you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. Appreciate you for hopping on our platform. Beyond Normal, the focus is, again, having conversations with founders like yourself. I saw the Bounceless brand. I see some of the stuff that you're doing, but I want the folks to really learn and dive into your story. So tell folks a little bit about your journey leading up to you being a founder, right? Like, what got you to this moment where you were excited and you wanted to take on the challenge of being a founder, building out Bounceless?
All right. So my story starts as a middle school student running track. Ran track from middle school through college. And so I found myself somewhere between middle school and high school having a double up or triple up on sports bras. The thought came to me in college to develop a sports bra, but it took a lot of years after that to finally get to where we are right now. Needless to say, I didn't see too many athletes who looked like me in the bus area, or even talking to some women now, they gave up on their love of a sport simply because there was not enough support out there, or they didn't find what they were doing was working. So my story started because I loved running track and I wanted to continue to do that even as an adult, to continue to remain physically active. So I embraced upon learning, one, how to sew, which I'm still embracing that, but also product development. So that's how I became a founder, because I wanted to solve my own problem, but also solve it for other women like me as well.
Appreciate that breakdown there, Chantelle. You being a lifelong athlete, it seems like this is something that's near and dear to you. So tell us a little bit about products that are currently out there, like what you were seeing when it came to bras for female athletes. Like what was missing?
Well, not even up until recently, we had to pull them over, and it's not fun, especially when you're sweaty. But it just lacked support. I mean, it was just a pullover with material that really didn't do anything. I remember when I think it was my senior year, my coach at the time in high school gave me it was a Nike sports bra, so I just added that to whatever else I was already wearing. I just kept putting on more sports bras to try to get the support that I needed. But what was lacking was adjustability and just comfort. I mean, it's very uncomfortable wearing multiple sports bras, so I wanted to keep that in mind, having comfort be a part of the products that we make so that women will want to wear them.
Got it. And so going into this space, there was some ambiguity, right? There was like this, okay, how do I get this done, right? Because your background, you as an athlete, you've been focusing on being an athlete your whole life. How did you go about gaining some of the business experience, right, to start this business and take that initial idea to where you are now?
Great question. And just know that it was a long journey for me, and I don't come from the fashion or product development industry. So my background is actually education and social work. I found a way to combine the two. So let's say, I think the idea came about somewhere between 2007 and 2009, just the idea for me, you know what, you're going to make your own sports bra. And, but I really didn't get serious about it until about 2010 or 11. And so I asked someone to help me learn how to sew. And so with that, I just needed the basics so that I can craft the sports bra, how I envisioned it in my mind that would work based off of the techniques that I use to get into wear multiple sports bras. I was going to take that and put it into one. I then did some Google research. I know it was about 2015 when we actually found our first product development team to work with. And so she was based out of Colorado. So I sent her, I'm almost ashamed of what I sent her. I sent her fabric that I made from like shirts and taking bras apart and elastic. So I just crafted in my mind what worked. And I know when she got it, she's like, what is this? But we were able to come up with the first prototype. And during that process, I have a patent on this sports bra. So during that process, I was also applying for a patent as well, because since the beginning, I knew that I wanted to stop the bounce. reduce bounce significantly. So I was like, okay, to me, that wasn't out there. I didn't see it. There are some sports bras who have come along, who come close, but for me, they still didn't do the job. So I felt, okay, this is going to be something that's going to change the way that women, one, show up in the world and also show up for themselves when it comes to working out. So I kept that in mind. So I wanted to protect that. So we went through product development with her for about 2 years. And I will say this. So I remember recently finding a notebook because I was keeping notes of what I was doing. And this is probably it was 2009. I remember the date. I was like, okay, this is my 6-month build up from product development to selling. And that was in 2009. Again, working with someone who doesn't see it the way you do, or they think they have your ideal in mind, that was the struggle that I found. And so we got close, but still wasn't good enough to me. And so I kept delaying until I wanted to find something that worked for me, that I knew would work for other women as well. So we worked with her up until about 2017. Still didn't have what I wanted. Found another one in about 28, another product development team about 2018. Again, she was like, this is a little bit complicated. So I did something that I would not probably suggest other founders do, but I went ahead and put out a product that wasn't mine. We did some adjustments. That wasn't the patent, but it was a smaller scale version of the high impact sports bra that we have out now. So I called that our low impact sports bra. So I wanted to put that out simply because I wanted to get our name out there as we were still working towards getting the high impact sports bra out. So we did have one product that launched in 2019, because that was about 18 months of development too, with the second product development team. So through that, I'm still like, I'm going to get this high impact sports bra out. I was not giving up on that at all. So second development team, we got something out with a small production run. And then we, 2019, at the end of 2019, we were able to be connected with someone else who got us on track to where we needed to go. And that was a game changer, because she was like, I was telling her my story, and I told her that one of the previous product development team said I couldn't make this sports bra because it was too complicated. It couldn't be made, but we got it made. And so this is where we're at right now. We relaunched June of 2021. And so we've been hitting the pavement heavy, trying to get the word out and just to help women to that Bounceless experience.
Chantelle, you dropped a lot of gems there. You talked a little bit about iterating, and then it sounds like you had to really convince people throughout the process, right? Before the product was in that final stage that you wanted it, you had to convince them really to invest in you, right? And I think that's a common thing for a lot of founders out there, making sure that people understand and connect with that story even before the product is built. The motto is going around nowadays that you build that community right before the product and then the product comes a little later. That's outside of the traditional way to build a business. And I think your story there, you fought through it. It took you a couple years to make that product where it is, where you want it to be now. But as you were telling me that, like, I was seeing the movie play out right in front of my eyes. So that I appreciate you for sharing that on our platform.
Yeah, don't give up. I use those no's for fuel. I quickly learned that, okay, I'm going to be told a lot of no's. And it was confirmed that, yes, go out there and get those no's so that you know how to accept them. So since the beginning, I've been hearing no, and even no in the form when you got to pay again, because I've invested a lot of my own money into this. And so to me, those were no's because I would have to start over again. And that's what got me too at one point, even with our third product development team, it was like, okay, referring back to the first one, this was not done right. So that was very upsetting, but I was like, oh my goodness, like, again, I didn't know what I didn't know. So going at it from the basis of not knowing what to expect when you go into creating something new, I would, if I were to do it again, I would make sure and just to gather more information than I had, just because I probably could have saved myself a lot more time and money if I knew exactly the questions I should have asked, not waiting on what I thought, the experts could tell me about my own sports bra and what I needed. So I would say be okay with waiting and getting the knowledge. that you need to be successful in meeting with the people that you're going to be working with, because essentially you're paying them, they're working for you. So, be intentional about going into certain relationships in business.
That's a gem right there, Chantelle. I actually keep this right next to me, right? Boss, right? I keep that next to me all the time because, like, hashtag boss, like, you got to make some decisions, right? And then, like you said, you're paying people ultimately to move your business forward. And so it's still your decision at the end of the day. They're going to give you that feedback. They're going to tell you no, right? You want people around you to kind of give you some of those objections. But then where there's a will, there's a way, right? And a lot of times that boss, that CEO wears that hat. So I got really excited as you were just dropping those gems on us as you were explaining your story. So I want to transition a little bit to you being a founder, like that experience in itself. You were going through an accelerator program. Now you're done.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit around that accelerator experience for you, the accelerator you were in, et cetera.
So I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the ecosystem here for Black founders, entrepreneurs is really growing. So Act Tulsa is a collaborative effort between Act House and I2E. Act House is based out of Florida, and I2E is here in Oklahoma. So they joined together to bring Black and Brown founders together. They invested $70K in each business with zero equity. And the goal of it is to, of course, help accelerate these businesses. But then once we reach a point where we can invest back into the next cohorts, that's what's going to keep that cycle going to continue building upon Black and Brown founders. So for me, community is everything. So I was very interested in that. Yes, it's 0% equity, but also we are committed to repaying that back so that we can help the next cohorts after us. So it's a 6-month program. 3 months are in person, and the last 3 months are virtual. You're matched with advisors. This was actually my first cohort accelerator program where it was in person. So it was interesting to experience that, and we become family. The founders that are the businesses that we have that come together. So very interesting, very a lot of learned experiences. Me as a founder, I've grown as a founder. I would say that I was challenged. And so challenged one, even just to change the brand name, we did a rebrand. So you think you have this as a baby, your business, and you want to hold on to it as much as you want with everything and be a helicopter parent. But you, as the founder, you have to realize when you need to pivot. And that's something that I feel like I learned through the accelerator program through Act Tulsa. Because again, just being challenged to push you. And I know that those challenges will help me when I face other decisions later on down the line as a business owner.
You're dropping gems, like, just talking about like what goes into some of these decisions, some of the hot topics right now, and you're probably well aware of this, like what money should you be taking? A lot of people, they tend to kind of go down one path and just think that that's the end all be all. Example that would be like venture capital, right? Where we see some people like, oh yeah, I got to go into this space, and then you see kind of when you look at the numbers, right, less than 10% of that money really goes to diverse founders, underestimated founders. So it's like, why even spend a lot of your time there? And you're an example of that. Really using this accelerator program. I love the fact that they give you the money and then they take zero equity.
Yes.
Right. That's awesome.
Unheard of.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure you've had conversations with people, right? And they're probably trying to give you some information or give you some sort of input. And in return, they're trying to take some of that equity. And right now it's so important to keep as much of that equity in your business as long as possible, until somebody comes along and maybe write you a blank check.
Yeah. And it has to be the right person. Like we have these conversations about, if venture capital is right for us as well. And so it's just a thought process to see, making sure that it's the right fit. And anyone who's talking to investors, you just want to be mindful that, you want to make sure, one, you're not giving up so much of your equity that you're not even in control anymore. And that two, that, they're not going to come in and, shatter what you've already been creating or, change it completely. So that's always top of mind for me. It's a relationship. Yes. And you want to make sure that it's a functional work or relationship on both ends.
That's awesome. And as you were talking about that, something came to mind for me around relationships, right? And you being the boss, like you're out there looking for an amazing team to help you run Bounceless and make it, that next big product brand that's out there. So I'm curious, like you said, it's a give and take. It's a two-way street. Like, what are you looking for on the people that you're bringing onto your team as well? Because having a great team probably sets your business up for success as well.
Oh, definitely. We're in the process of expanding our team now too. So the people that I look for are going to be, they already have the go-getter attitude. I don't want to have to pour my go-getter attitude into someone else. I want you to come with the experience needed to help us take it to the next level. And that's not to say that you have to be the expert, but I'm also wanting people who will grow with us. People who can pour into the business as well as receive it as, this is something I definitely want to be a part of. I want it to be a family, a community. I'm not here to just harp and shout out commands and things. I believe that I can learn from a lot of people that I meet. And so I take that into context too, is that when you come on board, we are here to grow together. And so I would like to keep it that way. I would just, my team building process is about, I want it to be longevity. I just don't want it to be someone we brought on and now they're off to the next thing. I really want it to be someone who pours into Bounceless to make it grow into the company that it is desired to be.
Oh, that's a gem right there. Like you said, you can't really pour that go-getter attitude into people. And so, like you said, they got to have some of those intangibles, some of those soft skills that I think people that look like me and you, I think we have a lot of that in our community. Outside of maybe some of those technical, like we're coming along in that space as well. But I think when it comes to soft skills, just having conversations with people, being able to be yourself, that swag that we come with, right? Like that's value.
Yes, I love that. Like when I think about the culture that I want for Bounceless, is definitely showing up as yourself. I don't want you to have to hide behind who you are. I want you to show up as yourself because essentially I want you to be represented in Bounceless. Like I want your skill sets to be there too. So that's why I say family, because you yourself around family. So at least I hope you are.
Mm-hmm. Family's big now, especially in the world we live in. So there's one other thing that just popped back into my mind, just the fact that you have Bounceless, the brand, right? You have that word. Like, tell us a little bit about how you got that word and like how you're able to kind of own it, right? I think of a brand like yours. It's a simple word. People go and probably Google every day. There's probably a million searches for this word, and now your brand's going to pop up. So tell us a little bit around how you're able to secure that as well.
So actually, when I started the accelerator, we started July 2021. I entered in under another name. And so I was talking to another investor in 2019, and they had asked me if I had thought about changing my name before. And at that point, I really hadn't. And so the accelerator comes around, and then someone asked me again, have you thought about changing your name? And then it was actually Malachi Blankenship with I2E. He came up with the Bounceless. And so I went and did a search. I'm like, okay, the domain name is available. So I jumped on it and purchased it. Still not 100% sure that I was going to change it, but I was like, okay, it's here right now. And I say that because we already have products with the other name on it. So I was just like, we got to get rid of this product first. And so now Bounceless is bounceless.com and the trademark application phase right now. I'm waiting to hear back from the USPTO about whether or not we can claim it, but we're using it now. So we have the TM on it as well. So just being able to push it out legally further, I'm still waiting on that, but we are in the trademark process right now.
That's a crazy good thing, right? That's what we call a tailwind, right, in the business world, something that propels you forward, something as simple as a name.
Yes. And it makes so much sense now, because before we would go to trade shows and The name was Concept C3 for comfort, confidence, and control. Those were the three things that I wanted in a sports bra, but those three C's still convert over to Bounceless. Like it's the Bounceless Control sports bra because it's going to give you the control that you need. But Concept C3, like, what does that mean? So we would get asked that a lot. But with Bounceless, you know what you're getting into when you see these sports bras. So I'm glad that we made this change. I'm glad that the name was available and we're moving forward with it.
Yeah, that's a big one. Like when it just comes to like merch and just the way stuff
Yes.
looks, you just want it to be effortless.
Yes.
And you got a winner for sure with that
Thank
one.
you. I appreciate it.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you. So we've touched on the fact that you're selling physical products. Obviously, the core of the line is the bras, but I'm curious, what does this expand to next for Bounceless? What's on the horizon for the brand that people can look forward to?
Yes, so we are going to stay specific to our niche, which is fuller bust women. And so we do envision having other products, of course, that are made for like shirts or tops that are made for fuller bust women, just to keep that focus. So that because there is a lack, this is an underserved community. There's a lot of frustration when we go shopping. So we're trying to alleviate that frustration, especially when it comes to activewear. So we are going to focus specifically on activewear, but making it a brand that fuller bust women will trust because they know that it will meet their bounce reduction needs. So we'll have more products out related to, how women can, show up with their at the top. We will have some probably tights coming out to match those outfits too, but the focus will mainly be on making sure that they have tops that they could that are functional, that they could work out in or even just lounge in. So that's where we're headed towards right now.
Got it. Appreciate that. It seems like you're very laser focused, tunnel vision in terms of what the product's going to look like. Yes. And I know that's something that maybe some other brands they may spread themselves too thin. Too many colors and too many palettes and things like that. I know you probably went down that path some.
Yeah, we've asked questions too, like, okay, would you want this color? Does this matter? Does fashion matter? Does function matter? And honestly, the women that we receive feedback from are saying they just want it to work, and then most of them are wearing like black or grays, but I'm pretty sure we'll get into some different color palettes. But right now they just want a sports bra that works. So that's our main priority.
Got it. So in terms of your audience, going back to your background, in terms of like the feedback that you're getting from for the product right now, is it everyday wearers that are giving you the most feedback now, or is it that athlete that you were?
The athletes and the women who are working out at least 3 times a week. This particular sports bra is your action sports bra. This is when you want to go running, go jumping, you want to do CrossFit. This is the sports bra that you want to wear. We did have another one on the market that could be worn for everyday wear, but I was very intentional about having a sports bra that you would want to engage in because honestly, physical health means a lot to me. And a lot of fuller bust women have, given up on certain activities or working out altogether simply because it hurts, it's uncomfortable, and they don't have the support. So if I can help more women become physically active and to help with maybe some health ailments that they have because they're not physically active, then I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah, that's working off all this COVID weight. I gotta figure out how to work out myself, and so you kind of knowing like this builds into like ultimately more people working out, feeling better about themselves, just having that product that's really tailored to them.
Yes.
Again, you're building an amazing story, and then I can even go back to some of the brands that are worldwide now, the Nikes and some of those brands. They really started out like with some really raw products.
Shoes.
Yeah, with shoes. And in fact, their shoes were essentially replicas of the big brands at the time, right? But he went worldwide, their CEO, he went worldwide and really was pitching these big brands worldwide to make him their supplier just off of that idea, off of that story. Being an athlete and that athlete story we see right now, athletes are really in a position where they're owning their story a little bit more, right? They've got some power, right? Especially the professional athletes. And I'm excited to see them really kind of utilize that power a little bit more. But the athlete is so influential
Yes.
in today's world. People really overlook and underestimate how much influence athletes have.
Yes, definitely. Speaking of athlete, I told myself like 2 years ago that I wasn't going to run again until I have my own sports bra. So now that I have it, I am committing myself to become a master track athlete. This is for those people over 35. They actually have a club where you can go out and still run. And so even up until I think it was earlier this year, a woman in her hundreds ran a 100-yard dash. And now she has the work record in that. So I'm not trying to run till I'm 100. Maybe I will. But I do want to get out there and get back to the sport that I love. So it is for the athletes.
Shout out to her. I can't run 100 yards right now.
Well, you better keep up with them, so to keep up with the little ones.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to learn to start running.
Yeah, you know it. So, I just want to say, as we wrap up, I appreciate you coming on the platform, sharing your story. Once I found out about you, we had a quick conversation. I had to have you on Beyond Normal. Let the listeners know a little bit about, how they can stay in tune with the brand, maybe something to look forward to as we get into the meat of 2022.
Yes, you can definitely follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Live Bounceless. And if you or someone you know could use our products, you can see that at bounceless.com. Something that we're definitely looking forward to as 2022 progresses is just making ourselves known. I really want to drive this community focus. And so what I envision is having some events throughout the locally as well as regionally, just so that we could present those opportunities for women to become physically active, but in fun manner, because we believe that exercising doesn't have to be gruesome and cruel, but we want it to be fun and as a way for us to get together as women too, even the whole family. But we just want to make sure that we provide some opportunities for us to actually create those physical activities.
Yeah. That's fire right there. I'm seeing a lot more as things open up, a lot more running, run and grab a beer afterwards kind of events, like you said, making it fun. Some of the family events, starting the kiddos, like you mentioned, starting them out early. Because some of the COVID babies, they've been in the house, they got a lot of energy, and so they are ready to see the world. And running is a great way for them to use some of that energy. So I love that as a focus.
Yes, definitely. So, and it doesn't have to be running. I mean, jumping on trampoline is fun too.
Yeah, that playground is exercise.
Yes.
That playground's exercise.
Yes.
I know. So, again, I just want to thank you for coming on the platform. One last time, I want to pass it to you, as you know, folks who are listening in, tuning in to your story. Like, what's that one thing you want to leave them with as we close out this conversation and look forward into the world? Like, what's that one takeaway that they should leave this conversation with?
That's a good one. Something that I want to leave everyone with, and this goes even beyond just business, is that the no's and maybe what you think is a failure, don't look at them as failures, look at them as lessons. And then either use those no's for fuel or take those things that didn't go the way you planned them to go as lessons and see what you can learn from them, but then apply those lessons to the next step or the next venture, the next idea, the next that you'll be doing. So just try to stay as positive as you can, because if you're going down the entrepreneurship road, it's going to be ups and downs, but you have to keep in mind that everything there is a lesson.
Mic drop. So that's it. Like, I'm not even going to say much else. Thanks for tuning in to the Beyond Normal podcast.